Alright, let's go to the next question. So yeah, we talked a bit about this one already, I guess, in some ways. But yeah, what were your strategies for expansion? How did you expand? And are you happy with it? And if there was anything that you would like to do differently, now that you've learned everything?
Strategy. What's that? Well, we've been really busy actually. So the strategy was always sort of been slow and steady. We doubled in size basically over the last year, so that was kind of scary, and I've heard too many horror stories about just taking on too many people too fast and not having processes in place. So as a company, we've always had the idea that between me and Andres, that 30 people, give or take, would be about the optimum number of people. We don't really want to grow that large, because then what happens is you start to get the segmentation inside the company, so you don't know who are you, that's not really good, and you want to have that very communal feeling, very friendly family atmosphere with the team, because you get a lot of cooperation out of your team in that sense when you're that close knit. I thought that was quite important. So but that's probably about people, right? So in terms of projects, the plan for us is not so much expansion, but more about the kind of projects that we want to take on. So, we're a service-based company right now, but that's not really the way that we want to go. For us, it's about moving from service to product, but keep service.
So you're going from development company to maybe like startup, right?
Ideally, yeah. So, we're actually working on studios as a startup basically. It's been going for about almost 3 years, and they're about to break out into a couple of countries right now, or at least try to anyway, and they're seeking some investment. But that's been a really, really good learning experience, because we basically had to get our process down. For a company our size, we're like I said, we're coming up to about 17, but we focused a lot on processes. So we tried just normal agile, and that kind of didn't work, and then we thought, okay, how about Kanban boards? And okay, almost there, and then we sort of threw in Scrum with Kanban, and that sort of hit the spot for us. So that's a continuous sort of learning process that we're going through right now, and we're still trying to get there. But so it's a combination of getting the right company size, which is maybe a couple of years down the line, getting the right processes in place, getting the right clients. That's pretty important. So as we sort of stabilize the company, we're going to start looking out for the kind of clients that we like. We like startup clients, because they come up with these really cool ideas, and some of them are quite whack, but okay, that's fine. And the fun part is just to work out their problem. So that's pretty much the idea right now. It's just increase the size slowly as the need arises, get the right people in, and then try and work our way into product basically. And I think for us it's going to be 75% product, 25% service based, just to keep it interesting. We can rotate our staff in and out so that they're not bored. And that's really important, because there's nothing really good.
You're trying to do something like Google, right? 20% time.
Well, the 20% thing is kind of nice. We're not quite there yet. We said, yeah, guys, we give you 20%, and then we'll go, yeah, boss. Well, where's the 20% time? We're like, yeah, because we're so busy. But that's the plan.
So I think one of the key things early on was to find good partners. So we've got pretty broad services. Until we had in-house capabilities, we had to have good partners, and so really we're acting more like as a sales unit, finding customers, outsourcing, but trying to have as much input in that as possible. And so I think if you want to grow quickly, you need to know you can trust the people doing the work. So we couldn't start out and go and hire X number of developers. We needed to know that if we landed a big job, we could actually take it on, and we already had a good team in place that could help us with that. So rather than doing overselling and doing this take on any kind of work, at the beginning we partnered with some companies, and some were good and some not so good. A few headaches and a few projects where we wouldn't go back to those people, but after time we knew the people we could trust, and that then allowed us to really kind of turn up the sales, because we knew, okay, if if we do get a high volume, we've got that support behind us. And something like that is what allowed us to go and do a partnership with True, because they've got a huge amount of work, and if we couldn't handle the volume, then we would be one of a number of many partners that they'd be bringing in. We really wanted to be kind of their strategic partner for these apps, and so we brought in kind of a network of partners of our own.
Only people in Bangkok, or
we did try further afield, but we found that really the only way to do it properly is to bring them into our process. So again, like you said, you've got to be honest with the client. So we weren't telling the client we were doing everything in-house. We were, they knew who we were working with. We were bringing them into the office for sprint review meetings with the client. So it was collaborative. We worked with several different partners, but at the whole time trying to scale up our own in-house team so that in the future we wouldn't have to. So we've actually grown from just myself 18 months ago to 27 people now. So we've grown really quickly. I think the key to that has been, like Jan said, you've got to hire great people. Of course, that's paramount.
And for you it was quite amazing because you're not a developer or a designer, or you're just a business person. So how can you recruit that kind of people?
So I'm from business marketing background. I'm not technical. The first person that I brought into the company, Bob, he kind of heads up our project management. I'd already worked with him on a startup from Startup Weekend, so I already knew kind of how great technically, and also kind of his ability to step up and I think look after a team. So I think the first hires are the most critical, and the way we've expanded is through kind of internal referrals. So we've hired people who are great at what they do. That then attracts other talented people. Hopefully they are within the same tech community. They can introduce other people. I mean, we've not hired everyone. Not every friend they've recommended has kind of made the grade, but there's been a lot of personal introductions, and that's just made integration so super smooth. I mean, people have joined us, and 2 weeks later, you wouldn't know that they were a new recruit. So I think that's really the thing that's allowed us to grow so quickly. If we'd been hiring everyone off from different places, from LinkedIn, and there hadn't been that kind of initial connection, I think it would have taken longer to gel.
And just last question, would you do anything differently now, or not? Or you would do it the same way, if you had to do it again?
I think I'm happy with how it's gone. I think, maybe have only worked with local partners. When we started out, we outsourced to India. I mean, I was going for kind of lowest cost, and I guess I got what we paid for. The first few projects were a real headache. So I think, don't always go for the lowest cost provider. Go for quality, especially when your first few projects are the hardest to land and the ones that you need to be kind of great case studies. So I think take lower margins at the beginning and produce good work, and that will come.
Okay.
I guess our main strategy again has been, as you said, the hiring of great guys initially. So we hired some really good guys initially. We pay well because we're lucky enough to do most of our work outside Thailand, so we can take advantage of the, geo arbitrage between here and the rest of the world. And I would say also knowing our customers as well. So we've always had a very clear definition of who our customers ideally are. So we've come up with great marketing strategies to get direct to those people. In terms of the strategy for the future, again, products. What you realise very quickly running a development company is it doesn't scale. Even if we are at 100% capacity, there is always a theoretical maximum that we can possibly earn. It's a one-time scale. If we're doing products, the sky's the limit. I'm not asking these guys building stuff here. So we're already quite heavily into a lot of product development. We're kind of lucky because we build so many products now. Most of the products we want to build are it's just like a parts bin. Okay, we want Stripe payments, we want this and the other. It's very easy to put together apps very quickly. So what we're doing, building lots of B2B SaaS apps, and we're just throwing them at the wall. And if some stick, great. If some don't, no problem.
You do some partnerships with your clients as well, right? No?
Yeah, we do some revenue sharing deals, or we have done in the past. To be honest, we're not doing any more now. You know, some work out, some don't. The thing is now, we get a lot of clients say to us, okay, I've got this great idea, how about you guys take a percentage and give us a discount? And the line really is now that, well, you know, we've got a whole list of ideas of our own that we want to build, so if we were going to invest time and money in them, in an idea, we'd invest it in ours before yours. And that really is the line now. We don't do any sort of revenue sharing at this point. Just because it doesn't always, hardly ever pays off, I would say. The other thing I think we've been very careful about as well is we are selective about our customers. We don't have any customers that are unfunded. In other words, if some guy walks in the door and says, I've got this great idea, here are my life savings. Okay, we do not work with people like that because they get so close to their own product that they will never deliver. The other problem is that often people like that have maybe they can scrape their money together to build the product, but once they've built it, they don't have the money to market it afterwards. So careful selection of customers is absolutely critical, for sure.
Okay, great. Jeremie?
In terms of our expansion, we want to get really big. You know, we think 100,000 clients is a realistic number. I wanted to have a little more of a supply business, but periodically Corey sends me photos of like super yachts. Like, get your butt into here, you gotta buy a yacht. And a couple strategies on that. I think one thing that's been perhaps a failure or a weakness is we haven't thought strategically enough around pricing. That we just locked in on this $247 price model. Our average revenue for a client ends up around $200 with some discount volume programs. But I wonder now is should our list price be $99 with a goal of an average revenue per client of $300 and be much smarter about add-on and incremental services and upsell and cross-sell and that sort of thing and kind of open the door wider and then figure out how to do that. And as part of that, we really want to build out as the world's largest small business marketing agency. And so we're investing a lot in creative talent now and thinking about how we could be doing that for thousands and thousands of small businesses who need marketing services, from logos, from direct mail campaigns, potentially it might not all be digital, through digital campaigns and managing different sorts of things. So that's kind of on our horizon. It's really, really, really hard. We've had investor interest in us. This year, a publicly traded Australian company, particularly because they thought we could help them crack that nut. It's really hard, and we just kind of have this passion to go figure out how to build that and do that. We said no to their money also. To do things over again, I think it's again being a little smarter, thinking about pricing and kind of offering strategies and not putting enough thought into that.
Yeah.